Okay. Got it.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Candid Moments. I am so blessed to have one of my favorite people in this city join me today. She is so full of light and love. She's a personal energy coach, and everybody knows her and loves her. And I'm proud to call her my friend. Please help me welcome to the microphone, Louise Bergeron. Hi, Louise.
Hello, my belle. Thank you for that wonderful intro.
Oh, you're welcome. Hey, oh, I don't want to spill it. Cheers.
Cheers.
So, happy Thursday.
Yes, happy Thursday.
Thank you. How, what are a few things that you're grateful for today?
Wow, oh my goodness. How much time do I have, right?
Right.
But in particular for today, I'm actually really grateful for family. One thing that I'm absolutely sure of is what I value, and I value my relationships. I value family, and I happen to have some from out of town today. We have a little bit of a health thing going on with my brother, but everybody's got each other's backs this morning, and so yeah, that's a huge one for me. Other than that, I'm very grateful that in my lovely home. I came back from Manitoulin Island yesterday, spent a lot of time on the island. So yeah, it's good. And of course, I'm grateful for you, my friend.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful for you. Oh, that's a good segue because it's my turn. I am grateful that I spoke with my best friend. She's like God to me because she gave me life, and I share so much of a special bond with that woman. And I'm very hormonal this week, and I'm not going to get too much into it because then
We can cry together if you want, hon.
thank you. You know what? I've had such a I've had such a nice summer, and I didn't put too much pressure on myself. I kind of just gave myself time to just be. And now I'm back in the office, and this is good because all of a sudden I'm starting to feel that shift. You feel the wind shifting. I know it's not fall yet, but it's August 25th. And damn it, I'm in pain. But but what's nice about the whole fall winter experience, I have my podcast to focus on. And I have my family. They are so supportive. This hair clip is so great. Look at this thing. It's rose gold. It was super cheap. It went through the dryer. It's still good. And I lose it. I misplace it all the time. But somehow, somewhere, I find it. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for it because I just need to put my hair up sometimes, and that's fine.
Trust me, I get that. I'm this close to getting it chopped there. It's like
Right?
right.
Oh, so the last time I got to see you, Louise, I got to see you in person and I got to hug you. It was in June at the Easter Seals Dancing with the Stars event.
Yes.
And we saw each other in the bathroom, which, oh my gosh, ladies get to connect. And I was wearing a dress. And when you looked over at me, you stopped and you read my new tattoo, which reads, "She found strength and gratitude in the pain." And all of this sudden, when you read it, you felt it, you knew. So that kind of impact, you know, when someone can relate, because pain is universal, right? But all of a sudden you said, yeah, honey, I get it. Yeah. And I don't remember if we had a cry or not, but like, maybe. It's just, that's probably, but that's deep, you know, it's, what were you feeling? Because I know you're a warrior and a survivor as well.
Yeah, I absolutely. And you know, I think I've come to the to appreciate that we all have stories. We've all experiencing life differently with different things. And yeah, you know, there's painful stories. There's incidences or tragedies, things that, you know, nobody wants to have happen, but happen to us. And but like so many of us know, is like to us could absolutely be for us, but that's a choice, right?
Yes.
That changing to for, that's a choice right there. That's a shift in how we are looking at the pain. And it's a shift of mindset. It's a choice to start looking at, you know, as crazy as this is, as painful as this is, as unfortunate, I'm getting this out of it, or this is happening because of this, or I am where I am. Like I keep thinking, you know, I am who I am today because of all of those experiences. And I often say it's the stuff that really hurts and disrupts and is uncomfortable that really impacts us.
Yes.
Right? Like good times are great. Love good times. I love when things are smooth, but it's not the stuff that stretches me to grow.
It doesn't test you.
It doesn't test me. I'm pretty good when things are good. Yeah, because it's easy. We're all
Yeah.
when good times are good. Not a lot of work for us, right? Just to go with that. But yeah. So anyways, yeah, and your tattoo for sure. Look at where you are. Look at who you have become.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm looking at the book behind you there. Your book.
when people ask me if it was successful, or how about this one? How are book sales? Okay, that's fair. So, I published 6 years ago. Book sales are once in a while. But the other day, somebody said, "Hey, why don't you bring a copy of your book into the office so everybody can read it?" And I said, "Oh, honey, you know what I did a couple months ago? I ordered some books, but not like hundreds of books, maybe 25 books. And the bank called me and said, "Oh, we just flagged a suspicious activity with your Visa card because it was American and it was a big purchase." And I'm thinking, it was a few $100s. Okay, I was trying to order my own product. I was trying to order my own book. So that was unsuccessful. Maybe I'll try again. But yes, the impact that that has on people, not everybody will read it and say, "Oh, that touched me." Some people will read it and say, "Okay, well, that's your experience. That's fine." But other people who doesn't necessarily have to be the same or similar circumstance that they went through, but it everybody's perception and feeling is all different. And I respect that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, I really have I've come to trust so many things that I've learned along the way, along my journey. Um, things that I would have probably rolled my eyes at years ago, but I I feel that things show up for you. You would, you know, you can read a book and open it up almost anywhere. And if you need a message, if you're looking for a message, if you need to see something or hear something, it's going to be right there. Because really, you know, we interpret, right? So the information comes to us, and then we interpret it based on our systems, which are experiences, are the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, our memories, all of it. So we interpret And so people will pull what they need out of your book. And we can't, like, I think at one time in my life, Candace, I was very much a telling person. You should, and right. And now I don't
Right.
use that word anymore, or very, 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 very selectively. But yeah, you should here, why don't you do that? You need to do that. And I've so gotten away from that. Well, first of all, because people don't like to be told what to do,
No.
really. But more importantly, we will take what we need. We will, like, yes, some people will ask for advice, but for the most part, people know what they need. And if they really want something, if they want inspiration, information, some guidance, some whatever, they will find it in something.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna show, okay, give me a second.
Yeah.
It's not good for me to walk away from the mic, I know.
I'm the video Zoom expert, so
This is what I'm reading right now. I'm the master at starting books. It's not a strength. I started 7 of them. There's a big stack of books
I get
beside my couch this year, but if I wasn't ready to receive the message,
yeah.
I needed something else. Okay, I don't need this right now.
Oh,
This one, so I don't swear on my show, but I'll show you the book title.
yes.
Right? Values. You started by talking about values. And I need to go through this again when I'm done. I'm almost done. But wow, what a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. I have so much to learn, and it doesn't matter really how old we are. We keep learning. We keep learning. I keep making mistakes all the time. And I trust my judgment, which is so bad because I have impaired judgment. And so don't always take my advice because, like, legit. Yes.
Hey, I feel the same way. You know what? Learning is lifelong. Learning is every day. I think this is my own personal philosophy is by time I'm perfect, which I don't use that word usually, but by time I am perfect is when I'll be checking, wherever. I feel like I'm going to be like an apple. Like, you're an apple, the apple's on a tree and it just gets sweeter and juicier and riper and riper. And then next thing you know, when it's done, it falls off the tree. When it's at its most, it's at its peak. So to me, that's how I look at it. When I'm at my peak, that's when I'll be checking out and moving on to the next whatever.
What a great perspective. I've heard you say that before. Maybe I did need to hear that again today.
Maybe, but
I like it.
I think it's also, to your point, Candace, it's taking the pressure off. You said this summer I took some pressure off. I think, and also to the book, that is what it's about. The more we know who we are, the more we know what we value. That's how we're able to start mastering ourselves. And when we master ourselves, we know what to say yes to, what to say no to. And also part of mastering ourselves is just to being a little less judgmental and certainly pressuring ourselves less. We don't like,
yeah.
I literally don't need to give a blank, an F about everything and everyone. I can't. It's not sustainable. Do I care? Yes. Am I a loving being? Yes. But I can't give and do and support and fix and give and do and support and fix all the time. I need to stop sometimes and just go, okay, what is it that I need to give my care to? And starts with us first and foremost, right?
Right. And Mark Manson talks about how we have limited F's to give. Like we have legit, there's only so many F's in this life to give. And you need to prioritize which ones get your attention and what you really give a heck about.
Yes.
And where your values lie.
And that's exactly, that's the values. That's your core values. That's your roadmap. That's, if you can navigate life, and I'm going to say 80% of the time, because I'm never going to do 100%. I know that. I've never been. Because 20% of the time stuff happens and we get off course and we are in a ditch, whatever, doesn't matter. But up to 80% of the time, if I'm living a life based on my core values, that navigation, that is navigating life with ease, with flow. And I got to tell you, and I know I shared this with you when you and I first met, it was not easy and it was not flowing prior to my journey when I started accessing coaching. I thought it did, but I had fooled myself. I had convinced myself this is fine. I'm fine. This is good. And no, I wasn't navigating properly because I didn't even know what my core values were.
So when you say that you accessed coaching, did you sought out a coach for yourself?
Yeah, that's how so funny thing is actually it showed up. The whole coaching thing showed up for me. And it was not a coincidence because back in the 90s, I'm going to say it's around 1997 or something. My girlfriend and I, and my colleague actually, we were good friends. We were both working for the same company and we're driving up Highway 144. And she's talking to me about coaching because she had gone to the States and had, whether she had been introduced or what have you, but she had some exposure to somebody who was into corporate coaching at the time. And I stopped and I looked at her and I said, okay, seriously, this idea of coaching, and it was like so new. Northern Ontario was late to the game with coaching because it's, well, unless you were a real corporate town, corporate city, you didn't invest in coaching. Now everything's changed, obviously. It's certainly very, very mainstream and popular. But at the time, and I remember telling Debbie, I was like, this coaching thing, it's so interesting. And I just was so intrigued by it. It really, really stopped me. Well, such that I'm remembering this moment with her like it was yesterday. And then I saw it again. I saw life coaching in a magazine, to the point of whatever it is that you need finds you, really, if you're open. And man, when I read life coaching, I was like, whoa, that is brilliant, that concept. Though I did not know exactly what it meant, but it just life coaching, it just struck me. So anyways, years later, I saw a life coach in action. It was my first coach, Sylvie Gervais-Leduc. She was on a panel and it was through the chamber here in Sudbury. And I'm listening to her and I'm like, wow, everything that was coming out of her mouth, I was just hanging on every word. And then the person that I was working for at the time had offered me some extra responsibility and some leadership role and asked me how he could support me in that role. And I said, well, I would love to have a coach. I would love to have access to a coach. And I also knew that he had a corporate coach. He had an executive coach out of Toronto. And that's how it started. I started meeting with Sylvie, and basically the rest is history. I'm not going to go into that, but unless you want me to, but it was just, I will tell you, that was a game changer. That was a turning point in my life for the better. And it was at a time where I so needed to stop, get off this treadmill that you're on, get off this uncomfortable journey. And not that everything was uncomfortable, but there was so many amazing things, that great family, great things, great activities. Everything was was pretty good. It was me. It was self-management. It was how I was pressuring myself, how I was showing up, wanting to be all of that and do all of that and be there for everyone. And I was giving, all the F's. I didn't have that many F's to give, but I was
Right?
trying. Yes.
Wow. So how did you help people? Like what kind of an impact? I know this was like a transformational journey for you and for business, and you kind of healed yourself in a sense, but how did you impact your community while you were doing this?
Well, that saying, and I'm not probably going to have it word for word there verbatim, but the saying of, you want to, be the change, be the
Mhm.
change you want to see in the world.
Yes.
So essentially that was number one. Not that I knew this, it's like, oh, hang on, I got to change myself. And then next thing you know, I'm going to help people. No, I just knew that something was going on. So yes, I started the it was a fairly long journey as well, because it's never going to be a drive-through. But I just, I started paying attention to myself, working with my coach, making some changes. And it really was a journey for me. It was from fear to love, like self-love, the love that allows you to be powerful in your own skin, comfortable and confident enough to say yes to that, no to that. I got to love me first before I give anything to anybody. That kind of powerful love. So I just transformed and I became that strong, loving warrior. And then that helped me with some of my health challenges and stuff. So essentially, Candace, to answer your question, is the people that showed up and I worked with in my practice, my personal energy coaching, were people that needed and wanted the same things that I did. And if it wasn't a good match, that's fine. We don't have to work together. But for the most part, people that showed up and worked with me, chose to work with a coach with me, it's because they needed a lot of the same thing. And I understood that. So I could, I knew what it was like on the other side of that, when I was my old self and my new self. And so you meet people and you go like, just hang on, hang tight, trust. This is a journey. It's not going to be exactly like mine. And I don't even know when you're going to start feeling it. But trust me, when you start shifting a few things, you start truly understanding that it's absolutely okay. It's actually not just okay. It's mandatory that you love yourself first and foremost. So that's going to be uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable for a lot of people.
I'm able to relate to the fact that you said the old self and the new self. That's a big part of awareness, but it was all part of, I think, everybody's journey to grow into the person that they become. I don't think I'm there yet. I'm definitely a different person than 10, 15 years ago.
If you don't mind, can I bust you a little bit right now?
Yeah.
Can I bust you when you say I'm not there yet? Because that sounds like it's a destination focused idea that there's a place that I'm going to get to at one point where it's all good. I've got it all. I got it all figured out and I'm good. I got there.
Right.
And
it isn't.
It's a journey. You are exactly where you need to be right now. With what you need, you're exactly where you need to be right now. But again, it's back to that we never stop learning, right? So it's it is, again, another cliche. It's the journey, not the destination. It's the journey.
Right.
So today you are stronger, smarter, better, all of it than you've ever been.
Yes. And you've never been this young. If you've ever read Eckhart Tolle's books,
Yes,
the,
it was a tough read at the time because I wasn't completely ready to read all of it. I'd almost have to read it again.
which his most famous one there, the green cover, what's it called? Power of Now.
Yes.
I have a hard time with that one. It's I need to read it again.
It's a tough read.
It is.
And back to your point about having 7 books on the go, I totally get that. Particularly when I was in my in the self-help section of books. I went through years and years where it was like sort of an all-you-can-eat buffet of self-help.
Yeah.
Just kept going to the table. And eventually I started to go to the table a little less because I started to trust that, you know what, you read that, you know that, now just practice that and trust. It's almost like, okay, the theory, and then get into the practical. And the more you're into the practical, and then go back and revisit some of the theory, maybe we need a reminder, a refresher, or even a debrief with yourself. Like sometimes I debrief with myself and I go, classic case of I learned that about myself, and this is what I did, and that was the result. And so now I read a few less, but every once in a while I go back and books are my friends. That's what I say. Books are my friends. They're always there. They're always there for me.
Yeah.
I can hang out with them anytime I want or not. They never judge me.
Yeah.
They don't tell me what to do, but they offer up, all kinds of love and knowledge and all kinds of, humor, anything that I need. So I think of books as friends.
I like that. Let's can I ask you about Louise the coach, Louise at home, Louise as the friend? Are you a person that takes your own advice?
Yes. With a caveat.
Okay.
Unless I am really worn out, and which would also tell you that if I'm really worn out, I did not take my advice in terms of personal energy. So, but that doesn't happen very often anymore. So, it would be easy for me to tell people how to do, to suggest self-care, be it spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or physically. And then all of a sudden I'd be like, darn, Louise, where are you on your personal energy plan these days? So I for the most part, I keep myself in check, and I do it oftentimes. One of my best tools to keep myself in check, to check in with myself, is my journaling.
Isn't that important?
Journaling is what, if not the most powerful one-on-one, me with me tool. And so, I'll start off and sometimes there's WTFs on my journal. The first page, there could be a lot of them on the first page.
Okay.
Second page, I got all the WTFs off my heart, out of my head, out of my, gut, wherever they're lodged. Then I just start asking myself some questions, some good questions, as a good coaching questions, and without judgment. That's important when you're journaling, right? And then by the time I'm on the third page, Candace, like I feel better. I feel seen. I feel heard. I feel understood. And that's from me.
You feel heard from you.
Yeah. I'm listening to myself. I see myself. I see my words. And sometimes I surprise myself and I go, whoa, like, whoa.
Do you want to say it? Do you want to say our famous?
You say it because it was your line.
Well, you probably look down at your page and say, oh, that's good shit. And you did write it down. That started at the beginning when we started working together. I want to say, where did we meet? At the chamber or the Boost Women? Or I used to see all those events after we met.
Yes. Well, the first time I met you was when I was checking out Toastmasters.
Okay.
And that's like a bazillion years ago. And I remember when you came in, I was like, whoa, like your energy, your assertiveness, your spunkiness. I was like, I don't know this person, but man, like she's a force to be reckoned with. Like, and then it was after I got into when I started my business, and of course, you're doing a lot of networking, so there was definitely Boost Women. There was some really good things going on there. There was some chamber stuff. Trying to think where else. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But yeah, and then you and I worked together. And if you recall, in the studio, I would use a flip chart, and I lost it there. I would use a flip chart because I would ask questions and had an opportunity to say answer, but they also had an opportunity to see their answer when I jotted it down. And it had a huge effect for a lot of people, like to see what they had just said, but to see it written down. So they are hearing it, they're saying it, they're hearing it, and they're seeing it. And so that's how, I said something, you said something, we said something, and you're like, that's good shit, write that down. And
and then it just kind of became a theme through the sessions.
Absolutely. It's a very, very precious memory. And but it's also like, seriously, it's almost, maybe we shouldn't put this on a podcast, but if I was writing a book, that would be a great title. That's good shit. Write that down.
Oh my God. I love it. Oh my God. Please quote me. That is amazing.
If anybody hears that, it's Candace's title. Nobody takes
it. Well, no, she inspired it from such and such conversation. That's interesting, Louise. Is there a book in you?
Sometimes I toy with the idea, but it's it's probably going to be the first time I admit this in public, but I think about it, and then I also think that there's nothing that I would write that would not have been written already. Really.
But from your experience, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose I could. It's not something that I got to write a book, or I want to write a book, or passionate about writing a book.
Okay.
I think I have been writing my book for myself through my journaling. Like I've got stacks of pages of my journaling notes, because I just have a clipboard, and I've got loose leaf lined paper, and I write, and then I put in the back, and then every year I just kind of clip it, and then I put it in a box. And so
nice. Do you remember, speaking of good content and writing and even performing, I had you on my stage on November 18th, 2019 at Mo Mondays. It was my third show. I thought I was having a heart attack that morning, but nobody knew it. It was before, like the show was in the evening. Anyway, that was anxiety. But I'm trying to think of your title. That was such a powerful Mo Mondays show. The title of your speech. Oh, if I were to go back, love.
It wasn't love is greater than fear, eh?
No, it was. Oh, I have it written down somewhere. Oh, but if anybody wants to watch that that performance, it's on YouTube. If you go to Mo Monday Sudbury, Louise Bergeron, 2019, if you could pull it up. Oh, it was so well done. And there were so many great lessons in there. I think
that was a big night. That was a big night. You had some powerful stories there.
yeah, and you were one of them.
And it was, you know what I remember about that night? Well, I remember a lot of that night. I remember coming on the stage dancing. And I also remember that my sons were in the audience. And so my family was in the audience. And my oldest son, I referred to him because I talked about my role as a mom and, you know, how the challenges of that leadership position and not knowing what you're doing. And anyways, I related some story, and then I just remember my son, Scott, you know, basically telling the audience, yeah, trust me, exactly, that's what was going on. He just sort of like backed me up on that. And I laughed so much because I remember thinking like, yeah, it's interesting to share your vulnerability, whether they be present or past, with the people that you love, as well as with strangers. But I think sometimes it's tougher to do it with the people that you grew up with, that you live with, right? And,
Wow.
yeah.
Do you remember the theme song? It was,
Yeah.
I have it on my playlist.
Oh, is it When the Love Runs Out? No.
No, it was a woman.
Boost.
It's a woman singing it. I have the playlist on my phone still.
Oh, yeah. Firework.
Yes. Is it Katy Perry?
Yes.
Oh, that was such a great song to introduce you to the stage, because then it made fireworks and the crowd was so excited. Oh, you shared your journey. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I just want to say that song. Funny thing is when I remember that song, I had broken my leg, and I remember one of the first times that I got up and started jumping and dancing was to that song. So it was very exciting. But also that song is basically, you know, again, right? It's that I am a firework. I am, you know, it just I light up. You know, I've got this power, this energy. And it's not something that I could ever admit back in the day. And it's not coming from a place of arrogance. It's not coming from a place, oh, I'm better than other people. Oh my goodness, not the least. It is coming from a place of, that's my journey, where I didn't think I was enough. I didn't think I had enough. I didn't think I was smart enough, organized enough, pretty enough, athletic enough, whatever enough. I didn't know that I was trapped really in that mindset. I did not know that. And so when I talk about the journey was out of that mindset into a mindset of, I am enough. Doesn't mean I can't learn, doesn't mean I can't get better at things, but I am enough today. I'm going to be enough tomorrow. I'm going to be enough the next day. And that's the person that navigates through life now. And that's how you navigate life with more ease and less pressure and more ability to trust and be open. And then that just, you know, as you know, that just attracts more authentic, things that resonate with who you are, because you are authentic. You know what you value, you know what you want, what you need, what you deserve. That's the navigation from there.
Wow. That's good shit.
That's good shit. Glad we're recording that.
Yes. Oh, I love it. It's
Oh.
so, wow, Louise, I've known you for like more than a decade, and there's been so much transformation in each other. And each time we see each other, the topics are similar, but
Yes.
you see growth.
Yeah.
And it's deep. It's always deep. We never have, me and you are not surface friends. We're, you know what I mean? We get deep.
Yeah. When we ask each other, like, how are you doing? How's it going? It's a loaded question and it's a loaded answer, right?
You have 20 minutes? Let's talk about it.
But that is something else to be grateful for, it is connecting with people who you can have these conversations with. That's really important. It's really important.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very lonely when you're working on yourself and you're trying to work through your transformation. It could be lonely depending on who your friends are and what circle what circles you get to hang out in, right? So it's yeah.
You know what I thought of? There was a reason for it. When you were talking about being enough, right before I hopped on our call, I wanted to put on a necklace that my girlfriend Paula gave me this year as a late birthday gift, and it says, "I am enough." And it's on like a little gold pendant. And my nails are too long to put it on, and I was trying to do it, and I thought, because I know Louise will love it. And then all of a sudden you talked about it. See, I knew there's just something in the air,
There are no coincidences. There are no coincidences.
No coincidence. No, coincide. Who was it that wrote about that? Coincide. What does coincidence mean?
Well, from my perspective, if you're asking me, it's really an attraction. It's part of that. I've attracted that. Again, right? Be careful what you think, for it may surely come.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think.
Circumstance.
Pardon?
I said it may not have meant anything to somebody else. When I say, I'm not enough, for some people that just doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't even land, which is fine. But
right,
we hear what we need to hear or what we resonate with, right?
Yes. And I always resonate with the messages that we talk about. There's just, I don't know, there's just something about you, lady, and you bring out such good vibes out of me. You teach me so much.
Well, I remember one of my courses, it was a Robert Holden. It was in New York City. And I think it was the coaching happiness course or one of those. And I remember going up to one of the women that was in the course, and I said, your energy is fantastic. Like you just like kind of have a glow about you, and you just felt it in that energy field. And then she said to me, if you spot it, you got it. So I want to say the same to you. You can't spot it if you don't got it.
Right. Like it's a reflection of ourselves, what we see in other people.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm reminded of that a lot, but I see so much bright light in other people that I think, I don't want to say that I don't have in me, because I know we all have it. But whenever someone says something loving like that to me, I say, well, honey, it is a reflection of you because you're just like that. And it's true. We tend to mirror positivity and love and sunshine and fireworks everywhere we go.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes, sometimes I need to just remind myself that it can't just be positivity and fireworks. Sometimes it's not. And that's the other part of my journey, a huge part of my journey. Candace has been to be to be with those in those spaces, or people that are, it's not good right now, it's not positive, but just hang back, Louise. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to jump in. It's not yours to fix. And to just, sort of protect my own energy and just be a safe place, safe space, safe place, maybe around that person or in that situation. Um, that's part of the work as well.
That's interesting. Safe place. I have a lot of someone recently told me that I have trouble of letting go of control. Oh my gosh, that was a slap in the face for me because I think I get it. I do have trouble letting go of control. But I'm so excited about this new journey I'm about to take. You said a safe place. I need to do some work, some inner work on me and growth and pain and trauma. So I signed up for counseling, which starts on the 1st. And I think I'm going to learn a lot about letting go of that control because I have so many F's to give.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, yes. And I know what, for me, my journey with respect to that, because I was very controlling. And like you, didn't necessarily like when I heard, like, it probably took me a few times to hear it before I let it land, because I wasn't ready to receive that information about myself.
Okay.
It's not easy to, hear. It's not easy to acknowledge, to accept.
Right.
It's not. But once I started to understand how, the need to control, how it was serving me, but also not serving me, when I started to understand that and why I was doing it, where was that coming from? That was my fear-based self. My fear-based self would obviously need to control,
Right.
to address my fear, my ego, the one inside of me that's not accustomed to not having control, the one inside of me that has trauma from back in the day, that has experienced some things that, and then they get lodged in our subconscious, right? So until you go in that, I call it the deep drawer, until you go into your own deep drawer and pull out a few files, things from the past, things that have really, really impacted you. Until I did that, I didn't know how much I was actually living fear-based. I didn't realize. So it's back to what I was saying about my journey. Like, I was stuck in that, I'm not enough, I don't have enough, so I got to control everything because I'm not enough, I don't have enough, so I better control, I got to do more, go do this differently, do more of this, do this. And
then it takes away from the present.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you healed your past traumas?
That's a really good question. And so I think, like, I am not a counselor and I'm not a therapist. I was trained as a life coach. So I want to make sure that I'm not speaking out of context and I'm not basing myself on the science of that, practitioners and professionals have studied. But from what I know, and based on the metrics that I'm using is, how am I showing up 80% of the time? How am I feeling, mind, body, spirit? How am I reacting? What are the results in my life? And so based on those metrics, I feel that I must have done a pretty good job of healing, and I must have done quite a bit of work, enough work that I am able to be with myself, be myself, and you know, manage this operating system in a healthy way. Not perfect. Do I lose my every once in a while? Absolutely. And I do use F-bombs in my vocabulary, although recently I'm having a conversation with myself about that. I could minimize a few, but
Me too.
you know, I'm forgiving. I forgive easier. I forgive easier. I bring myself into presence easier. I focus on gratitude more frequently than ever. I'm able to stay calm in a storm for the most part.
Okay, good for you.
So those are the metrics that I think are telling me, those are the results that are telling me, you know, a lot of the work you've done, Louise, is definitely impacted. So, you know, am I all healed up? I don't know. But I know that when I look back and I've reviewed a lot of the stories, I continue to choose to forgive. I continue to go back and I bring my current self into those stories. And that's from those lens, today's lens is how I look at those past stories and those past traumas. And that's where journaling helps. That's where conversations with my coach have helped. Yeah, I'm able to look at it differently because I'm looking at it from today's version of Louise. And I think that's the work. I think the work is I kind of, my younger self, my hurt self, my past self is not the one who's at the wheel now. It's me. It's this version of me. So I've definitely forgiven some people that have hurt me in the past, and I probably use this line so probably the most is, you know, they did the best they could with what they had, what they knew.
Right.
That's it. And I forgive and I accept that, which by the way is my 2022 word, accept.
Is that your theme?
That's my word for my theme. Yeah. Yeah. It's for 2022.
Nice. My connect was my word for 2020. But I use connect and communication all the time and gratitude. 22. Now I'm trying to find 22. My vision board is behind the computer. 22. Let's see the words on there. Personal, level up, love, gratitude, health and wellness, less inflammation, strength. Oh, who doesn't want less inflammation? Maybe I need to revisit that and focus on one word. I'm all over the map.
Oh, Candace, you and I have so much in common.
Right?
Oh my goodness. When I look back at some of my older vision boards, especially, they were very, very busy. Mine were really busy because it was really busy in there. It's really busy. And remember, I told you I was going to the all-you-can-eat buffet of self-help. So I was just like, I'm grabbing everything and I want everything. I'm working on everything all at the same time. It's like, whoa. I've changed my attitude about that, and it's a little bit more portion control on my self-help. And
Nice. Wait. I'm taking notes.
yeah, that's good shit. Write that down.
Yes.
Um,
Control.
yeah, with my self-help. Because when I was going to the buffet,
Oh, I like that.
when I was going to the buffet of self-help and kept filling up my plate all the time, that was the I'm not enough yet self. I'm not full enough, so I'm going to go to the buffet. I'm not enough yet self.
And that's where you were not using the word accept.
Oh, I just started using that word this year. And so now it's back to accept that you're enough. I got to tell you, that word accept has gotten me out of quite a few situations, actually, to your point of control.
Okay.
If I decide that I'm just going to accept what's going on, that will probably stop me, and has, in fact, I've got examples, has stopped me from trying to control the situation. Sometimes I've just accepted and backed out. And that was a good use of my knowledge, and it was definitely good personal energy management.
Wow.
I just accept. It's like, you know what? The old Louise would have got into an argument about that. The old Louise would have tried to manipulate something so that it could be the way she thinks it needs to go.
Your way. But that in a way, so you have leveled up or womaned up by learning how to accept, let go of that control. You've womaned up.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how I see it anyway. That's my perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I Louised up. I stood up for myself, and I made a choice that is, and it continues to be a really good choice. And so a lot of it is, wow, I just can accept way more than I accepted before. And that gives me a lot less responsibility to try to control and change situations.
Oh, doesn't that feel good to just let go of that? I don't know what that feels like, but I'm imagining it.
Imagine it, because that's the beginning of it's going to be manifested. Start imagining that feeling, because I got to tell you, Candace, it is a wonderful feeling. And I literally feel it in my body. Yes. And it wasn't maybe obvious at the beginning, but now I literally feel it when I decide. It's like, oh, hang on. My word. I'm just going to use my word in this situation. I'm going to go accept, Louise. Just accept. And then I just settle down. I feel it in my body.
Wow.
And then the next thing is like oftentimes followed up by, okay, what do you need, Louise? What can you do right now that makes sense, that will serve your energy? Or, and sometimes the answer is just, you know what? Just get out of this situation and focus on one of your priorities right now. Let go and go there. That's honoring myself. So think about it, think about that feeling. How are you going to feel when you back out of that battle or that situation? You just decide to accept, or there's nothing you can do about it right now. I'm just going to accept. And you see yourself backing out of that. And then you see yourself making yourself the priority and tending to something that matters to you.
Wow, that is the end goal.
Yeah.
Accept. That's good shit, Louise.
Thank you. Well, for me, like I said, that word and it took me a while. I started the year and I'm like, oh, what's my word? I didn't know, it was one of my clients that started that with me a few years ago and I was like, oh, I don't know that I've ever had just a word. So it's probably been about 5, 6 years now that I do that. So at the beginning of 2022 is like, it's my word. What was my word last year? And I kind of laughed, I chuckled because I think my word last year was the F bomb. I think it might have been. I used it a lot just because, there was just like, what is going on, right? Like we've all gone through 2 years of what the bleep is going on, right?
Yeah.
So, and again, I think maybe that's why the word accept helped me to just get, to settle down a little bit and maybe just to start shifting and regrouping and yeah, maybe re-energizing after 2 years of pandemic,
Huge.
right? Like, because imagine if those of us who went through the last 2 years unable to accept all of what's going on, unable to accept all of the impacts that it's had, and for the most part, if you're unable to accept, you're looking at a lot of the negative impacts and you're fighting it and you can't control it, but you want to try to control anything you can because it's been trying times, right? So I think that's where my word accept helped me to just settle my operating system and just, get back to basics, get back to, my personal energy, my values, and that's where I can hang out and that's what I have control over.
Wow, that sounds like a good space that you're in now at this point in your life.
Thank you. Yes, it is.
Wow. If that's what wisdom sounds like, I'm really excited for my future.
Absolutely, baby.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But don't discount today's wisdom.
No, that's true. There's an abundance of it already. Life, learning, wisdom, insight. Oh my goodness. This has been so lovely connecting with you, Louise.
Oh, thank you, Candace. It's been absolutely a pleasure being here with you this
Thank
morning.
you. You are fireworks in my life.
Aw.
I miss you. Can I see you in person sometime?
Yes, I believe we need to make that happen. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm, you know what, just flip me a message every once in a while and we'll just,
Okay.
something's gonna work.
We'll make that happen. Thank you for having a candid moment with me today, Louise.
My pleasure, Candace.